Hey, everybody. That is right. Welcome back to the December podcast of the Bowfishing Buzz Schmitty. Episode 72.
Epi 72.
Christmas is right around the corner, Schmitty.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And you know what they say?
Right around the corner.
Nothing makes anyone happier than waking up on Christmas morning and seeing AMS or MegaMouth Bowfishing gear under the tree.
I prefer it in my stocking.
Oh, okay. Either or. Both is better than one.
Yeah.
100% guaranteed.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
But for those that aren't watching the podcast, Schmitty, you've got on a new T-shirt.
Yes.
We got a couple different colors in that, and we got another black one, different one.
Yeah. And you've got on a very cool sweatshirt.
I like this.
That's one of my favorite ones. And just for everybody listening, we just, I think yesterday, maybe Monday, we got in our 2024 apparel.
Right.
Our merch drop came in here. We've got, and I'm sure you'll flash some pictures up on the screen for the video portion, but Matt's got our new Fish Fighter hoodie on. I've got one of the retro fish shirts on. This is a russet color.
Yep.
It's kind of like a reddish brown, and we also have this one available in orange. And I'm trying to think what the other color is. Orange.
Kind of grayish.
And a heather navy is the color.
Yeah, with the white retro fish logo. I love the retro fish. That's one of my favorite logos that we've had over the years.
Yeah. Yeah.
The retro fish.
I'm trying to think the other two. We've got 7 total. So 3 of these.
And then a black one.
We've got a black Fish Fighter shirt, which is very similar to the sweatshirt that you have on. Yeah. And we also have 2 new Shield shirts. They've got the AMS Shield on there in brown and olive. I like those Shield shirts, Matt. They've got a couple phrases on them. One of them is AMS Bowfishing, quality since 1979, of course. Mm-hmm. Another one is carp live in fear. Mm-hmm. And the bottom one is small town proud.
That's right.
So I think that those are all very cool phrases to have on those shirts. It kind of sums up exactly what we're all about here.
Small town proud.
Yeah.
Family owned.
Yeah. I mean, if you, Stratford is, I'm thinking we got a whopping population. Are we up to 1,300 people total
I think
now?
it might be 13.
Yeah. So we're just growing like crazy. But yeah, we are definitely small town proud. So
love it. Like
very
I say,
cool.
My traffic jam happens in the fall.
Yep.
You know what they are.
Yep. A big old tractor.
Yep. Combine.
Yeah.
Went on the road or the Amish buggy.
Yep. That's why
That's our combine. That's our traffic jams.
And I'm sure you experience. I'm trying to think where I was this fall. A sales meeting of some kind, and I had to drive to MSP. And MSP going into the airport was all under construction.
Nice.
I don't know how people can do it, to be honest with you.
I don't know how
to deal with that traffic every day. Oh, my gosh.
Every day of their life.
Yeah. Props to you, but man, I just can't do it.
You could have the urban jungle.
Yeah.
Not for this guy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, Schmitty, I want to wish all of our listeners out there coming up here a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year because it's a great time of year.
Yep. Yes,
it's a wonderful time of year to be happy. And with the new year coming, maybe you have some bow fishing resolutions.
Oh, that'd be a good one to do in January. We could have our bow fishing resolutions. That'd be a cool one. Yeah. Yeah. Shoot a bigger fish than Matt. That'll be my resolution. There's a first for everything, I guess.
That's right. That's right.
And to go along with what you said there, Matt, we just want to thank all of you guys who have either listened or watched the podcast. I'm kind of big into the numbers aspect of things, analytics and whatnot. And one thing that's really hard to judge with podcasts from a standpoint of hosting one is when you put a podcast out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're listening to these podcasts, you don't get views. You don't I shouldn't say that. You don't get a number of views. Of course, you get listens and whatever, but you don't get to go into a podcast and go, oh, look, 10,000 people listen to this.
Like on YouTube where it says how many people watch the YouTube.
Exactly. You just get a downloads number. So I've been trying to crunch some numbers as far as, and not everybody downloads podcasts. I don't. I listen to podcasts every day. I don't download them. I just stream them and listen to them.
It takes up space on your phone.
Yeah, a lot. If you're not paying attention, it takes up a lot of space. And I was just doing some numbers and crunching some numbers based off some other podcasts. And Buzzsprout is where we host it through. And according to Buzzsprout, we are in the top 10% of all podcasts based off of our weekly downloads. And for a bowfishing specific podcast, we never thought that it was going to get this big. And we just thank you guys so much. I mean, obviously this is all because of you guys. We appreciate you guys listening. We love talking to you guys. So just big old thank you. That is just wild to think about.
Because trust me, if we didn't have good ratings and people weren't listening, we would not be doing this.
No, we wouldn't be able to come up here and talk.
The owners of AMS Bowfishing would say, we can't pay you guys just to sit up there and talk.
Right, and understandably so. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yep, yep. So thank you guys. That's just really cool that we've gotten to be the size that we are. So.
Right, and going off that same topic there, Derrick, a little shout out here to Chris Anglin. He sent us a message on our AMS Facebook page, and it was a little logo from Spotify.
Yep.
And it said that he has listened to up to 1,004 minutes of the Bowfishing Buzz podcast.
Oh my gosh!
And he's a top 10% fan.
Sure, that's freaking awesome.
And you also,
yes,
they didn't send it to us, but somebody shared that to their Facebook page or Instagram.
This girl I know, she lives close to us here. I guess I won't say her name just in case.
Because she didn't send it to us.
She didn't send it to us necessarily, but I saw her Instagram story, and here's a picture of her Spotify Wrapped, which is exactly, I'm guessing, what he was doing. And her number one listened to podcast was the Bowfishing Buzz podcast. And I saw that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what the heck? That's crazy.
That is neat.
Of all the podcasts out there, it was the Bowfishing Buzz. Very cool. Very cool.
Well, on today's podcast, Derrick, we're going to be joined by Jase Greer from Missouri. Never met Jase in my life.
Nope.
No idea really who he is. But he contacted us, and he said, hey, guys, I just want to give you guys a thank you and a shout-out because I'm listening to your podcast. I'm listening to your fall bow fishing. Don't give up. Get out there. It's a great time to shoot fish.
Yep.
Not a lot of people out there. The weeds are dying. Big fish. And they took our advice and went out and had just an absolute blast from what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Because Jay said, I would love to be on the podcast and talk to you guys about that. So we're having Jase Greer on from Missouri to talk about his fall bow fishing experience.
Yeah, I think that's very cool. And just based off of what you told me about him, too, it was maybe like a time of year where he and his buddies maybe weren't, they never really did it before.
That's what I'm thinking,
Yeah, and so all of a sudden they listened to us talking about how we've shot some big fish in the fall. When everyone else is in the deer woods, we'll go out and shoot some fish. We've had some fantastic nights, and that triggered him to go out and shoot. So that's pretty cool. So, looking forward to talking to him as well.
And then along with that, Derrick, one of our Bowfishing Buzz fans, Clint Murray, sent us a message, and he goes, he was interested in butterfly carp.
Yep.
A little bit about identification, and you know how we do those spot-ons.
Fish IDs.
Yep. So we're going to be doing a podcast here either in January or February on butterfly carp.
Yeah.
So if anybody that targets them or hasn't, I know Idaho is a great state that has a lot of butterfly carp. If there are any guides out there that want to come on and talk about butterfly carp, and
we want to learn
bow fishing for them, we'd love to have you on.
We'd
love to have you on. So just shoot us a message on the AMS Facebook page or the MegaMouth Bowfishing Facebook page.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep, very cool. Well, I tell you what, Matt, 'tis the holiday season, and we are feeling very thankful for everybody here. We have got some fantastic both AMS and MegaMouth sales running right now.
Yes.
Let me just dive through some of these here quick. On the MegaMouth side of things, we have sales running. I won't run through all the prices, but everything that I've got on here is 5, 10, 50% off. We got a lot of stuff out here. We've got our original MegaMouth line spools on sale. Our net gators, our 2.0 line spools, the 200-pound that are going out on all the reels right now, those are on sale. Our bow cases, I will mention that one. That one is down from $130 to $100.
Oh,
nice. That's a big discount.
Nice.
That's a fantastic bow case.
Yep.
Little note on those bow cases, we got those specially designed so that you do not have to take off your MegaMouth reel off your bow.
Right.
You can just put the whole thing in there, and it's wide enough that it'll fit that. With that torque rod sticking out there, that's a little bit longer than your traditional bottle reel or AMS retriever type of setup there. And then, of course, we've got our sales running on our long sleeve and hoodies as well. So,
and one thing that you mentioned in there, Derrick, is the line spool. Okay.
Yep.
I just want to touch on that a little bit because now is a great time to get that.
Yep.
Because you've shot all. This past season, and your line is frayed, it's worn. You probably cut it several times to replace line.
Yep, you started with 40, now you're at 27.
Right.
Yeah.
Now's a great time to get that. And the cool thing about those, Derrick, is they come already on a spool.
On a spool with 40 yards on there, ready to rock and roll.
So you don't have to crank that on.
No.
You just can take that old spool off because really that old spool might be a little worn also from fighting in those big fish because the MegaMouth is a beast. It locks down.
Absolutely.
So that might be a little worn.
Yeah. Yep. And just from a standpoint of working on these reels, doing repairs, Matt, if you guys are thinking to yourself right now, oh boy, I shot mine all this year. How will I be able to tell? If you take the backside of that line, if you take your line spool out of your MegaMouth reel and you look at the backside of it, there's a bunch of notches cut out in that plastic on the back of the line spool. Those notches engage with the clutch plate. That clutch plate is controlled with your drag setting. That's how you adjust from left to right, from strong to not so strong.
Either 80 pounds of drag
down to 10.
Down to 10.
Yep. And if you see a little bit of a wear mark starting to go into, the groove is a square groove. If you see a mark getting worn into that side where it's always hitting that clutch plate, it might be a good time to swap that out and do it now. Don't wait and do it till you're ready to shoot fish, because then then you're down a spool.
Not only will you get it done ahead of time and it'll be ready for next year, but it's on sale.
And it's on sale, absolutely. And it's on sale. So yeah, good note there, Matt. That's definitely something to watch out for as well. Jumping over to the AMS side of things, Matt, we have our pennant hoodies on sale. Everglide safety slides, the ever so important Everglide safety slides on sale. We've got a hat on sale, our keychain floats, bow cases as well, knock adapters, our gaffs and meat hooks, muckbuster line pullers, replacement tips, and our deckhand bow holder as well.
Nice.
So both sites, if you go onto either MegaMouth or AMS website, you're going to see a sale tab on the top right corner. Click that sale tab, and you'll see everything that we have listed right there for you. And
absolutely,
the new apparel is live on the website as well.
And if you order it within the next day or so here, you probably get it before Christmas.
Yeah,
depending on where you live.
Right. What is today? December 14th, 13th? 13th today. So, you got a couple days that we'll be able to ship that out of there for you guys. And actually, as I am...
what's on the table here, Schmitty? What do we have on the table right here?
That is a brand new product for 2024.
Yowzer.
One that I am very excited about. You want to dive in a little bit, Matt, of what we've got sitting right here in front of us? This beautiful white compound bow that's sitting in front of us? Short.
Nice and short, Schmitty.
Yep.
We've got the Ringo.
The old Ringo. Anytime, anywhere, anybody, go Ringo.
That's right.
Yep.
30-inch axle.
Nice and compact.
Adjustable draw lengths from 18 to 31 inches. Draw weight adjustments from 20 to 70 pounds.
Yep.
And it packs a punch.
Oh, it absolutely packs a punch. Absolutely. Yep, we've got let off on that bow. And as you know, Matt, we've been shooting a sample of that bow for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And we just got this finalized here this year. So we have got the Ringo bow. It is live on our website.
It's ready to rock.
We've got them packaged up. You posted a video on Instagram yesterday or on Monday. They are ready to go.
They're in production. Yep.
And the cool thing about this, Matt, I guess, well, you know what I'm going to do first? We'll dive into, let's go back and forth. You got the Ringo. We've got all kinds of new products for 2024. Yeah. So we just talked about the Ringo. Something to go along with that Ringo is our brand new, for this year, Retriever Sport.
Right.
Which is built with the same internal components as the ever so popular, time-tested, industry-leading Retriever Pro. It's very similar. It's got a spacer adjustment on it that you can mount it to your sight holes. The only difference is it does not have that quiver clamp assembly on it.
Right.
The Retriever Sport retails at $99.99.
Yeah.
New for 2024. So to jump back onto the Ringo here, if you buy a Ringo bow and you buy our bow kit, that's going to have the Ringo bow, obviously, the new Retriever Sport, and our zip rest.
Right.
That entire bow kit.
And string things.
Black string things already installed. And if you guys can't see it here, we've got awesome AMS decals and logos all over the limbs. It's decked out.
It's all on the cam. This is Ringo and AMS on there.
And that entire bow kit retails for $399.99.
Exactly.
Yeah. That is all. We need the applause button there. That's going to be just fantastic for shooting fish. And we've been shooting fish with it for a while.
Yeah.
It does a fantastic job.
Yep. One thing that I noticed is I had to keep turning it down, Derrick. Now, granted, we were shooting carp, but I was shooting this in March, all right? And we were shooting commons, not big commons, 12 pounds, 10 pounds, 15 pounds. And they were in shallower water, but I was shooting them, and I was
blowing right through them.
Yeah. I had to keep turning it down.
Yep.
That's one thing that I noticed with this little guy right here. And I do like the shorter axle. Along with that, Derrick, this might be a bow for the people that like to draw on a fish and kind of get them in line because it has 80%
let off at full draw. Yep.
Right.
Yep. Yep. So that'll be fantastic. And very excited about that.
The bear bow we got at $289.
Yep.
For the bear bow, $289.99.
If you've got your rest already, you've got a retriever or a MegaMouth, and you've got some arrows, and you're just looking to upgrade your bowfishing bow, absolutely no problem. $289.99. We've got the bear bow only as well. Yeah. So we just covered the Ringo. I just talked about the Sport. You want to talk a little bit about the Sport combo kit that we're coming out with as well, Matt?
Also, we've got a Sport combo kit.
Yep.
It's your economical entry.
Yep.
I don't want to say entry line, but it's
at
an economical price.
Yes, exactly.
You've got the Mudcat arrow.
Yep.
With the Fish Buster point. You've got the Retriever Sport reel and a zip rest.
Yep.
I don't know. I guess I didn't. It's so new here. I really don't know the price.
Retail price is
on that.
$149.99
for a kit.
Yeah, for everything you need to slap it on a bow, whatever bow you have. Boom, you're shooting fish that night, ready to rock and roll. $149.99.
Yep.
So we've got the Sport Ringo, the Sport Combo Kit, and then we're going to jump over, Matt, to the MegaMouth side of things. And I'm excited about this one. We are coming out. MegaMouth has been doing so well, selling a lot of those reels. It's been really fun to see that brand grow.
Right.
And we are coming out this year with a brand new MegaMouth exclusive point, arrow and point. You can buy the complete arrow or just the point itself. That point is called the Quad-Lock. That point has 4 barbs. Yeah. It's got 2 long barbs and 2 short barbs. We kind of, it's like a revolutionary system. Those 2 short barbs are fantastic for shooting in deeper water, or if you don't have time to come to full draw, or that fish is swimming away fast, you've got 2 quick engage barbs that when they are engaged have 2 inches of holding power. The 2 other barbs, when they are engaged, those are your lockdown 2.5 inches of holding power. When those barbs get locked into a fish, that fish is not going to come off. And I think that Quad-Lock with all that holding power is going to be fantastic, because when you're using a MegaMouth, you are ripping fish back to the boat as fast and as hard as you can. And this arrow is not going to rip out. Nothing's going to happen. It's going to be a dominant pairing with a MegaMouth reel.
Quad-Lock.
So check out the Quad-Lock. We've got it available in white fiberglass, and we've also got it available in the Lava Crux, which is a carbon core arrow wrapped in fiberglass. A little bit stiffer arrow for better kinetic energy and shooting performance. So check those out. We got all kinds of new products here. We are excited here. Very excited. It's gonna be a good 2024 for sure.
And if you happen to be at the ATA show this year, you can come by the AMS and MegaMouth booth, and we'll have all the new products there. We've got the NBS show, the Sports Inc. show.
You'll be at NBS. I'll be at Sports Inc. Yep.
And that's all coming up in January.
Yeah. One last thing I got here, Matt. We have a limited amount left. We did a little bit of a holiday special run for these. We've got MegaMouth custom.
Look at that.
Yeti cups here. We've got a 30-ounce tumbler here, complete with a double-sided MegaMouth logo on there.
Very sharp.
Pretty slick. They're looking good. I think we sold like 12 of them in the first 12 hours that they were on the website. So we don't have a ton left, but make sure to get yours today. Get it for Christmas. Get it for yourself. Get it for a loved one. But yeah, we've got MegaMouth Yeti cups ready to rock and roll as well.
Very nice looking.
Yeah, they're sharp. Black color with that chrome finish. That really is a cool contrast color on there.
Nice. And the old Yetis keep everything nice and cool.
Oh, yeah. And I also noticed by burning my tongue, they keep hot stuff hot. Yeah. Yes, they do.
You and your coffee.
Oh, I got to have it. Got to have it.
So moving on with some bow fishing news here, Schmitty.
Yeah.
I just want to talk a little bit about
this is interesting.
Silver carp.
Yeah.
Right here in our home state in the Mississippi River. Now, a lot of you down south, you've got a lot of silvers in your rivers. You might not quite... You're loaded with silvers.
Right.
You see them quite often.
You've known them forever.
You've known them forever. We really don't know a lot about the silvers up here. You know, can they withstand the cold waters up here?
Right.
Ice on some of the shorelines and in the back bays.
Right.
Can they withstand cold temperatures and stuff? But anyways, the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources announced their largest capture of invasive carp, which are the silvers, and I'm guessing some big heads also, with 323 fish caught near Trempealeau, Wisconsin. Like I said, 325 might not sound like a lot to what you picture on the Illinois River and below the Kentucky Dam and certain areas where there's a lot of fish. But that's a lot for up here.
Well, and the thing that I always ask, too, is, you know, if they caught 323, what's the total number?
Right.
You know, that's and for an area that traditionally does not have those, that's a very disturbing, alarming number to see reported.
Yep. And I want to touch on something here, and I'll touch when we get here further along, but the invasive carp were caught on the Mississippi River, contracted commercial fishers. All right, so they were netting them. Tagging and tracking of invasive carp by the DNR and his partners is working to leading to successful removal of fish. Wisconsin DNR crews located 6 tagged invasive carp last week. I always thought that was interesting. I was always wondering why they never, like on the Ohio River, why wouldn't they tag like big heads or silvers to see where they go?
Sure, yeah. See what that range is looking like.
See what that range is like. That'd be just because the only reason I'm saying it is because of when we're scouting up for tournaments in the past. Yeah. We would find them the next 3 nights. They wouldn't be nothing in that area at all.
Yeah.
Where did they?
That makes you wonder.
I wonder how far they travel.
Are they a half mile downriver? Or are they 5 miles downriver? Like, how far are they going when they disappear from a spot?
Or are they just 3 feet under the bank? Or are they in 15 feet?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
So the fish detections, along with observations by our contracted commercial fisher, led to successful removal of these invasive carp. Now, the DNR said they will continue to track and catch as many fish as they can, as long as river conditions allow. While it's certainly concerning that we have captured this large number of invasive carp, it's likely that these adult fish moved upstream from our locations and were not the result of reproduction, which I found kind of interesting there.
Yep.
The DNR says that their data shows that the invasive carp moved into the Mississippi during the 2023 spring flooding. They believe the high water conditions allowed them to move upstream past the dams. Which is how that's how they first got into the river systems.
That's just history repeating itself,
right,
really.
Right. But the thing that I found interesting is, so you said that they only captured 323 silvers, which you said how many more they did not get.
Right.
And they believe that these fish did not reproduce up in that area.
Yep.
So if you netted 323, how many more are swimming around that will reproduce next spring?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Multiple times a year.
Yeah. Yeah. And as
it's only a matter of time, Derrick.
I know. And we've been saying that for a while, but it's like seeing this in print by the Minnesota DNR. It's like, okay, yep, now it's here. It's been brought to the table for sure now. So, yeah, just kind of a cool little update. I don't know if it's a cool update, but, yeah, they're here and present.
Yep.
So, yeah. All right, Matt, you want to move on here? We have got a big list here of BAA records. We're going to run through these pretty quick here. Congratulations, Scott Hassel, on his BAA Michigan state record grass carp weighing 60.15 pounds. That's a heck of a fish, Scott. Nice shooting.
That is. We got Michael Moat on his BAA Georgia state record tilapia weighing 11 pounds. That's a big tilapia.
Very nice. You guys are going to recognize this name. I talked to her on the podcast, Mallory Potter. Congrats on her BAA South Carolina state record white perch weighing 6.4 ounces and her BAA South Carolina state record lake chubsucker weighing 1 pound, 8 ounces. Nice. Mallory is just a fish killer. She's a big fish killer. So, yeah, congrats to Mallory. That's very cool.
And we got Carl Day on his BAA Michigan state record butterfly koi weighing 5 pounds. Or 5.96 pounds.
Nice. Oh, I've never heard this name before.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And look at all these other ones are one line. This one is a paragraph. I'm gonna need to take a drink from my MegaMouth Yeti here. I'm gonna be parched after saying all these records. Dustin Meisel, the record slayer himself. Congrats on his BAA Alabama state record mangrove snapper weighing 15.36 ounces. Congrats on his pinfish weighing 9.6 ounces. Yellow scad 4.8 ounces. Also, a BAA world record black bullhead, 1.6 ounces. That takes some skill to shoot that.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
And his bluefish, 2.91 pounds. Houndfish, 1.4 pounds. Blunt nose stingray, 15.6 pounds. And his BAA Florida state record blunt nose stingray weighing 17.8 pounds.
Right.
Dustin just finds fish that he can set records for, and then he just goes out and finds the record and shoots it, and boom, he's in. That's I don't know. There's probably 10 records right there by Dustin. That's crazy. That's fantastic.
We move on to Dustin Bell on his BAA Alabama state record and world record gaff topsail catfish weighing 3 pounds 8 ounces.
Yeah, cool.
Say that 3 times.
Yeah, good. Gaff's topsail catfish. Interesting.
Gaff topsail.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Braden Lee, congrats on his BAA Youth North Carolina state record common carp weighing 24 pounds. Nice shooting, Braden.
Way to go. We got Connor Cobran on his BAA Youth Maryland Golden Red Horse weighing 3.19 pounds. And then also his Maryland state record channel catfish weighing 14.16 pounds. And his BAA Maryland state and youth world record Northern Hogsucker weighing 1.44 pounds. Nice. So that's kind of interesting.
We've read his name before. He shoots a lot.
Yeah.
of fish.
So Connor shot that youth Maryland hogsucker, and then we also have Mallory. Or I thought we had a hogsucker in here before.
She had a chubsucker.
Chubsucker. Yeah. All right.
Yep. Let's see here. Joey Barden, congrats. BAA Florida state record channel catfish weighing 16 pounds. Nice shooting, Joey.
Luke Nelson on his BAA Alabama state record blue catfish weighing 73 pounds.
That's a tank.
It's a beast.
That's a tank. Wow.
I like seeing those big fish.
Big old fish right there. There must be a connection to Connor Colbrine here, because congrats to Steve Colbrine on his BAA Maryland state record American eel weighing 3.37 pounds.
Yeah.
A 3-pound eel? That's a little scary.
I think Steve is the father.
Okay, I gotcha. Cool. Nice shooting, Steve. Very cool.
So, yeah,
yes, absolutely.
Congrats to all the new and updated BAA record holders.
Yeah.
Great job. Way to get out there and and stick those fish.
Yeah, and something that, we're wrapping up these records here. Something else that, Matt, I know you wanted to bring it up. It's something that we've been updating everybody with over the last couple podcasts. Our fantasy football regular season just wrapped up this last week. Matt, have you ever watched a nature documentary before on, like, the African plains?
You're just lucky you don't come across the table and punch you right in the nose.
So you've seen, how, like, sometimes a little impala will trot down to the water hole. He'll take a drink. No problem at all. All right? A couple hours later, it's hot. Africa, 97 degrees. He's got to go down there and take another drink. Takes a drink. No problem at all. That's no problem. He goes down there, drinks, no problem. Meanwhile, what that little impala does not know, 2 feet from his nose is a crocodile. And he's
what's the crocodile's name?
The crocodile's name is Derrick.
That's not D. Schmitty.
It's D. Schmitty. And he's just sitting there waiting for his opportunity. All right? That's what I did all fantasy football season. I just laid down in the weeds. And then all of a sudden, that impala came down for his third drink, and whoop-bam!
You let him have it.
He got snatched up. And I pulled out a victory in the last week here. And you guys are listening to the Bowfishing Ninjas first place regular season champ, D. Schmitty. Just wanted to throw that out there. I know we've been updating everybody, so I just figured, we just
congratulations.
Well,
Congratulations
I
on that.
Unfortunately, regular season first place means absolutely nothing, and I'll probably get bounced in the first round, but we'll see.
Let's go back to episode 71.
You are such
podcast.
A sore loser. You are such a sore loser.
Just so happens that you and I were playing each other that following.
It was a Wednesday podcast,
yeah,
and the Bengals played someone on Thursday night.
And Joe Burrow is my quarterback.
Yep.
And what did you say on that podcast? Because you and I were playing.
What
did you say?
I felt really bad, and I retracted it as soon as I said it, but the words did slip out of my mouth that I wouldn't mind if Joe Burrow suffered a minor injury.
No, that's not what you said.
I said that I hope that he would just not have his best game, is what I said, and that maybe he could get hurt.
So what commenced to happen that next game?
I felt terrible when I said it. I didn't mean that. I never wish somebody to get hurt, but that next night, I'm sitting down watching. I'll watch the game just because Matt's got Burrow going, and I'm playing him, and I'm like, man, I need Joe Burrow to have a bad game.
Yeah.
So Burrow's beasting it up in the first quarter. He throws a pass, and I'm sure if you guys are, avid football NFL watchers, you guys saw it happen. He throws a pass, and it's like he threw it, and as soon as the ball left his hand, he stuck his hand out in front of his face, and he's like, oh, God, what's going on? Something's wrong.
And he did it on the sideline.
And then he tried to throw a ball, and it was not good.
No.
And I think he
done for the season.
Yeah, done for the season.
Mm-hmm.
Matt sent some very mean, rude texts to me. You jinxed me. How could you do that? But, that was something else. I can't believe that actually ended up happening. But speedy recovery to Joe. I'm sure he's probably a Bowfishing Buzz listener, so I didn't mean any harm by it. So
you better say that.
We'll just, continue on here.
Come here and break your wrist. You can't bowfish next year.
Yeah, Joe Shiesty, he's not to be trifled with. That's for sure.
So you have a first round bye.
Got a first round bye. Yep, myself and Kevin have a first round bye here, and so we'll see. I'll sit.
I got to play old Timmy boy for
old Tim.
Yep,
the MegaMouth creator.
MegaMouth creator.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. He started really bad this year. I think he started like 0-4 or 1-5 or something, and he has bounced back.
Did
very well.
Finished at 500.
Yeah. Yep. So we'll let you guys know how that all goes. It'll probably be all wrapped up by the time we do our next podcast. So we'll update you.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. My team is not. I'm in the playoffs, but my team has really fallen apart.
Yeah.
Falling apart. So, well, Schmitty, I think after this quick little break, we're going to give Jase Greer a call from Missouri.
All right. That sounds like a plan. Let's do it.
Why I bowfish. Hunting fish with a bow. Non-stop action. Never slow. By day, by night. Great shots. Great fights. With family, with friends. Trash talk never ends. And kids, they love it. If they miss, think nothing of it. By foot, by boat, by board or canoe. How you do it is up to you. Aim low. Shoot fast. Watch your shadow. Watch the grass. Shoot carp, raise, or gar. Shoot 'em close. Shoot 'em far. Stout arrow. Barb tip. Retriever reel. Let it rip. Bow fishing. Give it a shot.
And welcome back to the Bowfishing Buzz. All right, Schmitty, let's give Jase a jingle here.
Let's see what Jase has to say.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, Jase, this is Matthew and Derrick from the Bowfishing Buzz. How are you doing today?
Hey, Jase.
Hey, I'm doing great. I don't know who Derrick is, though. Is it D. Schmitty?
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, you're an avid listener. You know the ins and outs of the show. Very good. Very good. Yep.
Yeah, it threw me off, man.
Yes. Derrick is
Awesome.
D. Schmitty. Yep.
D. Schmitty. That's right.
Oh, I knew it, but I just had to hear it because it just rolls off the tongue the way Matt always says
It does. It's so smooth. It is. It really is.
That's awesome. Actually,
Absolutely.
we'll be at little trade shows or at tournaments with the booth and everything like that there, and people come up and say, just by your voice.
Yeah.
You must be D.
yeah.
Schmitty.
Yep. It's never Derrick. They never call me by my real name. It's always, you must be D. Schmitty. And I'm like, okay, they listen to the podcast.
Yep.
Cool. That's cool.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, which do you like better? Do you like your nickname or your real name better?
I'll be completely honest with you. I like the nickname D. Schmitty.
Yeah.
It just rolls off the tongue.
You should.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
It not only means that people, it means that people are listening to the podcast. So that's always good to know. If they hear D. Schmitty, that means they're a Bowfishing Buzz listener. Right. So very cool.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Well, Jase, thanks for joining us on the podcast and for reaching out to us. I think it's kind of a really neat little.
For having me.
Yeah, I think it's a really neat little topic that we're going to talk about. But first of all, Jase, why don't you, give our listeners a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how you got started in the sport of bow fishing.
All right, fantastic. So I've been born and raised in Missouri my whole life, but I am a full-time musician by trade. So I'm in a
very
band.
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, the name of the band is Lindley Creek, and so it's a family band. So it's me and my parents, and then my sister.
Oh wow, that's cool.
And we play modern bluegrass. That's like our thing. So I play the fiddle, and so when I was 14, we went full time playing music, and so I've kind of grown up traveling the country mostly.
Okay.
And so I'm from Missouri, but up until recently, I haven't spent tons of time there really. So that's kind of a thing about me, but I got my start in bow fishing through my brother-in-law. So my sister's husband, Nate, he was friends with these people who own some land that's like in a floodplain area.
Oh, okay.
And they grew up bow fishing. Like they've got a bunch of kids, and so like their older sons would teach the younger kids how to bow fish and stuff. And so one day my brother-in-law was like, hey, you know what we should do? We should go bow fishing, because we've been just trying to figure out how to catch fish in the summertime. And in Missouri, when it's like 98 degrees all day, every day, it's not the most fun, maybe. and the fish are not exactly jumping in the boat.
Right.
I was kind of like, yeah, I'd like to try bow fishing. I was a little hesitant though, because I knew if I tried it, I would probably get completely hooked.
That is the problem with bow fishing. Once you get bit by the bug, it is a lifetime obsession.
Yeah. So my brother-in-law was like, okay, we're going to go over there. We're going to meet them at 5 p.m. and go bow fishing. And I was like, is that the time you're supposed to go? And he's like, oh, I don't know. This is just when I said we should go. And I'm like, neither of us have gone. I don't think we should be setting the time. But I was like, all right, we'll go. So we get out there at 5, and the reflections on the water are horrible.
Yes, right.
You can't see anything.
Yeah.
But the buddy that took us, his name is Damien, and he's an absolute killer. He's got it dialed.
Sure.
And so we launch his boat. He backs his boat down this random hillside into this little tiny piece of water. It's extremely muddy. I'm really not sure how we didn't get completely stuck or just slide all the way down the hill into the water. But this is his home swamp. He knows it well. So we hop in the boat and we start to putter out, and Damien's up on the deck first, and we don't make it 10 yards before he just absolutely smokes this gar.
Oh, nice.
And just turns around and throws it in the bucket. And I thought, now that's interesting. Because you know how it is. If you've only fished your whole life, you're not really aware that there are fish visible in the middle of the day that you even could shoot. So I was thinking to myself, I was like, so we're going to go out here and see these fish and shoot them? like I've maybe twice seen a fish while I was fishing because, we got so much muddy water here in Missouri.
Sure.
And I couldn't even imagine it. And then here we are, not even 5 minutes into the trip, and there's a fish in the barrel.
Sure,
and I was like, this is crazy. So about, I don't know, 30 minutes into the trip, they only had 2 bows, and there were 4 people in the boat.
Okay.
And about 30 minutes into the trip, I don't want to throw my brother-in-law under the bus, but he shot the arrow upside down, and the stopper for the safety slide came off. And they didn't have any backup arrows, so we were down to 1 bow.
Oh, okay.
And so now there's 4 people in 1 bow, and it's 5 o'clock, and we're just puttering around. And I mean, we probably saw like 20 fish, which seemed absurd to me. Like, to me, it was like the most action-packed thing ever because, all of my bow hunting up till then was for deer. So,
Yep.
think of the times you've seen 20 deer out hunting that you could have shot at. Like, that never happened. So even as like kind of lackluster as that first trip was, I was like hooked. So we came back like 2 days later at 11 a.m. That was a little bit different. And, we had the polarized glasses and stuff, and we just absolutely got into them like crazy. I ended up shooting like a 3.5 foot gar, like we all did. There were a bunch of long nose in there. And then we came back the next day and did it again. We got hooked pretty quick on it for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
very cool.
That's a neat way to explain a first time experience bow fishing like that.
Yep.
Because really going into it, you had no idea what to expect.
Right.
You didn't really know,
the truth.
And not only like what you said about you saw 20 fish, you go bow hunting, you don't see 20 deer, but just because you're moving around all the time too, and you're always looking at different, you're not just sitting in one location, looking in one area.
Compared to like how normal fishing is.
Right. Yeah. You're always moving around and looking at stuff. So that's really cool. That's a really neat first experience, Jase.
Yeah, that's very cool, Jase.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember I brought my fishing poles just in case it wasn't good. and then I quickly realized, like, this is not fishing water. This is bow fishing water.
Exactly. Yep.
So, Jase, you listened to a previous podcast of ours and heard us talking about fall bow fishing, and you took our advice. How did that end up working out for you?
Man, it worked out incredible.
Wow. That's cool.
And cool. I kind of hoped it would. I kind of knew it could. But you know how those things are when you've never done something before. You're not quite sure whether it's going to pan out. But, man, one of my very favorite things ever is going to a new area or trying a new tactic or something and just kind of going in with nothing but an idea. And when it, like, actually works and you know that, like, it's not because you had a guide or whatever. And man, I love going out with guides because they know what they're doing. But when you can figure it out yourself, there is just nothing cooler than that. So I discovered your podcast this summer, I think it was. And of course, immediately binge listened to every episode.
Thank you for
That's
that.
awesome. Thank you.
So something you guys say pretty much every fall is like, hey, don't write off fall bow fishing. Don't write off fall bow fishing. So my wife had actually taken a trip to go see her folks up in Canada, and it was the first week of November. So obviously that's bow hunting. It's time to go shoot a buck. The problem is, for the second year in a row now in Missouri, during the first week of November, the highs have been in the mid 70s. And after, I think it was, I'll have to look at the date here, but I think it was the 3rd or 4th of November, I just couldn't bring myself to keep deer hunting quite like I haven't. I mean, you got to be out there because it's still the first week of November. Yeah, so it was the 5th of November was the last deer hunt I did in that like 70-degree weather. And so I called my buddy Damien up and I was like, dude, I can't keep deer hunting when it's 75 degrees. Like I'm sweating in the tree stand in November. And I said, let's get out here and try this fall bow fishing. I've heard lots of good things. I've heard it can be incredible. So let's get out there and let's do this thing.
Yeah.
And he finally agreed because he's a huge deer hunter too. Like he loves to deer hunt. And both of us have this thing where, you know, once the season kind of shifts, once you shift into deer hunting mode, it's kind of hard to shift back out of it.
It is.
Yes. Yep.
But it's so worth it. So I was like, let's get out here. It's 80 degrees. This is absurd. This is fishing weather. So let's do what Mother Nature is telling us to do.
There you go. Yeah.
So we get out there and, you know, everybody's like, man, I don't know. Maybe it's great. Maybe it's not. So it's my brother-in-law, Nate. It's my buddy, Damien, and then his little brother, Jim, who's 14 and just an absolute killer as well. So we start down.
Is this at nighttime? Is this at nighttime, Jase, or
yeah.
daytime?
Yep.
Nighttime?
Yeah, I should mention. So yeah, this is at nighttime.
Right.
We've shifted this year pretty much exclusively bow fished at night.
Okay,
Gotcha.
Yeah, so from the first year I went till now, which is I've only been bow fishing like 3 years now. This year we didn't really get many rains, so the swamp behind my buddy's place never did fill up.
Okay.
And that's kind of the main daytime spot that we would go. So we basically had to learn how to do lake bow fishing.
Okay.
And that's a big reason that I listened to every episode of the podcast, also because it's awesome. But I was trying to learn, like, how does lake bow fishing even work? And so we started in, like, March doing these, like, nighttime bow fishing trips, freezing to death because, you know, it gets cold in the springtime for sure. And so by summer, though, we had a really good spot, pretty dialed in. I think our record this year, we went out and shot, like, 74 fish, I think is what it was.
Dang, very nice.
And,
that's cool.
Yeah, if we were better shots, it would have been a lot more.
I hear you.
You know, that's how that goes a lot of times. So we decided to go back to this place. It's at night, and we kind of go to this first shoreline. And a lot of times, what we find is like at the points of coves and then back in the coves. That's kind of where the fish are. But like at this spot, the fish are just kind of stacked on the whole shoreline. And we get going down the shoreline, and it's just like not very many fish. It's like, oh, there's one there.
Yep.
Quite a while, there's one there, and I'm like, oh man, what's gonna happen here? Well, we get back into like the first cove, and it was the weirdest thing because it was a lot of fish still, but they were in very specific spots.
Okay.
So like there'd be some fish stacked up on the point, then almost always about halfway back in the cove, there would be fish. And then at the end of the cove, of course, there'd be like 20 fish that you never can get a shot at because it gets too shallow and then they all run by you and you never see them because it's way too murky and it drives you nuts. So we're fishing along. We shot like a couple buffs and maybe a carp. No, I don't think we shot a carp, maybe a gar. And one of my things this year that I really wanted to do was shoot a grass carp. And I had, up to this point, I had shot 2 this year. And so that was really cool. And they're so rare to see. They're so spooky. It's so hard to get your arrow to connect and stay in.
Yeah.
Like the first grass carp I saw this year was like a pretty nice grass carp, like probably would have weighed 30 pounds. And I smoked him. And then immediately the arrow just pulled out because that's just how they are sometimes.
Yep.
And so these grass carp are like that's like the thing that I'm really wanting to shoot because, you know, as your bow fishing career progresses, like you just want to shoot anything at first. And I still, of course, am not passing shots, but then you want to shoot that thing that you never see, you know? So if it's like, if you're shooting a bunch of gar, you want to shoot a carp. If you're shooting a bunch of carp, you want to shoot a goldfish.
Yep.
You know, some people really want to do that, I've heard.
Yeah, you
just made me kind of go a little haywire here.
I figured that was just for you.
Yep, you nailed it. That was good. That was pretty good.
So we're always looking for grass carp. So sure enough, we roll up on this grassy that's like pretty chill.
Yeah.
And then of course completely whiff and it runs off. And I'm like, oh man, I can't believe it. And I'm upset, you know, and it's fine, whatever. Maybe we'll see like one more is what I was really hoping for. And sure enough, like 5 minutes later, here's another grass. And I shoot it, and it runs off. And 2 seconds later, it's off my arrow again. And I'm like, dang it, I've got to do a better job aiming because, if you hit them in the guts, you're just not going to get them in unless you get real lucky. You've really got to hit them in the spine.
Right.
And so I'm pretty devastated. And, we end up seeing another grass carp like 5 minutes later. And I'm like, man, what is going on? And then we start actually hitting them, which, good grief, you ought to be able to hit a grassy that's like 4 foot long and 18 inches around.
Yep.
Like, good grief, how are you not hitting those fish? And, well, sure enough, just as the night goes on, we just never stop seeing them.
Oh,
we
that's
just see,
awesome.
And what it ended up being was like that ended up being the fish we saw the most.
Wow.
And
the one that you wanted the most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And I never would have dreamed that we'd go out on the 6th of November and that it would be a majority of grass carp that we shot.
That's awesome.
Like, we shot more grassies than anything. And my favorite part of the night, so me and Jens, which Jens is the 14-year-old, we were down in the bottom of the boat. And then my brother-in-law, Nate, and my buddy Damien are up on the top shooting. And I had brought some oatmeal cream pies because one of my traditions during early deer season is to go stay at my grandparents' place because it's right next to where I hunt. And she always has oatmeal cream pies around. So I grabbed a few because you got to keep your strength up bow fishing.
Absolutely.
You got to stay locked in.
Yep.
And so I hand Jens this oatmeal cream pie. I was like, here. And then I ate one. And like the second we finish them, I look up to the front of the boat and just see this giant grass carp. And Nate and Damien both shoot at it and miss.
Oh.
And it comes tearing off the left side of the boat. So the shore's on the left side of the boat. So it goes tearing off between the boat and the shore.
Yep.
And, of course, I mean, you got to take a shot, right?
Yeah.
And, I mean, you guys know how fast grass carp can swim. Those things can move.
Yep.
And so I just kind of let it and just snapshot it. And Jens kind of leads it and snap shoots it. And I was like, well, we shot at one. Well, I start to kind of reel in my arrow and I realize, well, wait a minute, there's a fish on this.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And Jens starts to reel in and he realizes, oh, I'm in it too.
Awesome.
Double whammy.
And somehow we both shot that fish. I hit it about mid-body and Jens hit it like right behind the head.
Nice.
And
Perfect.
we got that fish in and it was too heavy for Jens to lift by himself. Like it was like a 40-pound guy.
Oh, that's
Oh my
awesome.
gosh. That's very cool. What a
Just
story.
Huge fish, yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
so that was the biggest one of the night for sure. Jens actually shot the 2 biggest grass carp of the night, but in our picture there, he's holding the 2 smallest ones
Oh.
because he couldn't lift them both for the picture.
Oh, I gotcha.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we got the oatmeal cream pie buff.
Yeah, oatmeal cream pie grassy. Yep.
Or buff, yeah,
Yes,
grassy.
it was the rally snack for
The
sure.
rally snack.
It wasn't sadly not the banana moon pie, which I love, of course, but I
Still,
did
it's
not
the
have
same
one.
type of looking sandwich.
Yeah, same type of category of snack.
Yeah, snack, yeah.
Yep.
Right. Just straight sugar in a little bag.
That's
Yep.
right. That's
Yep.
awesome.
That's very cool.
Awesome.
That's very cool.
So
Oh, yeah.
what time did you eventually then get off the water? Was it fish pretty steady throughout the night, or did it slow down, or you just got to leave because?
So, one thing that we always do is if the fishing is good, like this year, I think almost every time we saw the sunrise.
Oh, wow.
I think maybe 3 times we didn't, but this night it really shut off around like 3 in the morning.
Okay.
I think it just, those temperatures drop and I think it kind of got the fish just to go away. But at the same time, I think we also just hit a long, unproductive shoreline. And because on the way back in, we ended up, I think I shot another grassy. I ended up shooting 5 grass carp that day.
way to go.
Awesome.
Cool.
Or that night rather. Yeah. So I took my dream of just shooting 1.
Yeah.
And up till then, I had shot 2 total, and then I shot 5 that night.
Right.
So
that's awesome.
that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Got some bruises on my shins from, once you lift those grasses into the boat, they like to thrash a little bit. Those arrows do not know to not hit you.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
So we kind of got beat to pieces by those fish a little bit. We actually had to pick up a random barrel that was in the lake to put the fish in because we ran out of room in our barrel. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
So we're cleaning up litter and shooting fish all at the same time. But, so I think, it was about 3 a.m. we ended up going back to the launch and then getting everything done. I did not quite make it to the deer stand that morning.
Oh, yeah, that'd be
unfortunately. I think it was like sun had been up about an hour when I finally got back to the home base there, and I just went to sleep and slept for like 6 hours.
Yep.
And it's always hard to recover from those, but it's just so worth it.
That's a great fall bow fishing story right there.
Yeah, that's very cool. And that maybe you wouldn't have done it if you hadn't, listened to that fall bow fishing can be absolutely spectacular.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, 100% I wouldn't have done it. And honestly, we almost didn't do it even still. I had to, I've been texting Damien because it's his boat, and he is the master bow fisher for sure. Like, I always say, like, I don't know what it is, but my bow fishing instincts are not quite honed yet on how to find a good spot. I think what it is that I try too hard to find, like, 9,000 compounding things, and then you get back in there and it's like 1 inch of water, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. Overthinking. Sometimes overthinking can put you backwards.
Absolutely,
a little bit.
paralysis by overanalysis.
100%.
Yep.
100%. So he's just got it dialed for sure. So I've been kind of texting him, like, because we're getting warm weather for like 2 weeks, and I was like, hey, should we go bow fishing? And he was like, man, I gotta be deer hunting. And I was like, I understand. So, I'd be deer hunting too. So finally what I did was I just called him and I was like, listen, here's why we have to go bow fishing. And for whatever reason, I guess maybe I'm a bad influence on him or a good influence, but usually when I have some crazy idea, he's like all aboard for it. Like he's ready to go. And so I got him talked into it. But yeah, if I hadn't heard that it could be good repeatedly, and well, another thing that really helped is a guy I follow on Instagram. So the guy who taught me how to play fiddle, it's his brother-in-law, and I've met him like twice. But he's a huge bow fisher, Justin Lakey.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. I figured you guys would know him.
Yep.
And he loves to shoot grassies as well. So he posted a picture like on the 4th of November, I think, with 2 big old grassies laying there in front of him. And the caption was, if you're not out shooting grassies in November, you got soft hands. So that's like something my buddies and I have just been saying to each other nonstop.
That's great.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's
really so we had to get out there after. And that was like the last straw for sure. Once I saw that, I was like, boys, we got to get out there.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. So I got a question for you here, Jase. Have you ever traveled out of the state of Missouri to go bow fishing?
So I have not yet done that.
Okay.
Really, I've been home mostly this year. We've started playing at Silver Dollar City in Branson, like playing a bunch throughout the spring and summer.
Cool. Very cool.
So I've actually gotten a chance to be home a lot, which has just been awesome. So I haven't done very many trips where I've wanted to take the bow fishing boat. Now, every winter we go down to South Texas and we play to the snowbirds down here, the winter Texans.
Okay. Yeah.
And so we've got the ocean is like an hour away.
Okay.
And I've been listening to those episodes with Corey Brossman, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
About shooting stingrays. And it's just a matter of time now.
There you go.
That's
there you
very
go.
Cool. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So yeah, last year I brought a bow down here, and I do a lot of wade fishing when I'm down here, saltwater fishing.
Sure.
And it's just incredible. Like on the right day, the water is so clear down here that like you can see these schools of mullet that are like 100 fish.
Yes.
And these are not like 2-inch long mullet, right? They're like 12 inches, 14 inches. Like there's some big mullet out here.
Mm-hmm.
And I just even that, and you know, you do encounter the odd stingray when you're out wade fishing, and you just try not to think about it.
Yeah. Yep.
As you see them go fluttering right next to you and you're walking out in the water.
Yeah.
You just go, I'm not going to think about that. I'm just going to keep fishing.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, the hope this year is to get a boat to keep down here to do fishing and bow fishing from.
There you go.
So this is another one of those harebrained schemes that I've got Damien talked into. So if we can find the right deal, I'm thinking this winter I'm going to hit it pretty hard with that. And then there's a spot not terribly far from here that's supposedly pretty good for alligator gar. So I'm really hoping, and I don't know how winter bow fishing is for alligator gar. I'm sure everyone would tell me it's no good, but you know, there's a lot of people that say fall bow fishing is no good.
That's exactly right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You just got to go out there and find out.
Exactly. I know Derrick and I were down in Texas in February a couple years back. And
shot some big buffs.
We shot some tanks of smallmouth buffs, just some slobs.
50, 60-pound fish.
And I remember the guide saying that because we were asking him about alligator gar.
Yep.
And he did say that they usually are in deeper water this time of year.
Yep. And just for reference, like we didn't see any of any size, and we were out 3 or 4 nights at all. I mean, that doesn't mean that they're not there, but I know they did say it's probably not the best time of year, but who knows?
But we shot some absolute giant smallmouth buffs.
Yeah, some buffs that I've never seen the likes of since then.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess if I have to settle for 50 or 60 pound buffs, I guess I just will.
Yeah, I guess that'll work. I guess that's okay.
I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So were you guys in like North Texas, Mid Texas? Like where roughly in Texas were you?
What the heck was the name of the lake?
The name, you. All right, we can give the
well,
lake.
You don't have to tell me the spot. I just want to know the region.
We stayed, and this might give it away, but we stayed in a small town, and we were very close to a town, I believe that was called Zavala, Texas.
Yeah. Yep.
Zavala. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Very cool. I gotta look that up and see where that is.
And it's
where I am. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and just it's a big popular body of water down there.
Large body of water
that you can get away from people, and the fish grow big. It can be a honey hole if you know where to find the fish, and you're down there in the right time of year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Yep.
So I would where we are in Texas is like the very southern part. So like way farther south than where you guys were there. So I'm wondering if because like today it's like 75 down here.
Oh my gosh.
Like that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and like last week it was like 82 one day.
Ugh, wow.
So I'm hoping that we're literally down by like South Padre Island, Brownsville sort of area.
Yep.
So I'm wondering if, you know, maybe we're far enough south here that the fish won't be down too deep.
Right. The water temp should keep them up.
Time will tell, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
Yeah, that's the next plan. But you know, as we travel, as we tour, you know, we actually in the summer a lot of times we'll end up in Wisconsin and Minnesota, and we'll go up through Canada. They might be freaked out by bow fishing, but I remember this has been, let's see, it was the summer of 2018, I think, or maybe 2019. I always try to bring a kayak with us on our tow vehicle when we're traveling.
Mm-hmm.
And in like a week there, we had like a week off, and I fished like a different little lake like every day there in Wisconsin because you can do that there.
Yeah, cool. That's very cool.
And it was incredible. Yeah. But I remember this one lake had this big, shallow, weedy flat that was like 2 feet of water. And just all day when I was out fishing, there were just carp up there splashing like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I kept thinking like, man, there must be something crazy going on. I should go over here and fish it. And I got over there and saw it was carp. And I thought, well, never mind.
Yeah.
But I just can't stop thinking about that spot. So if we wind up close, I'll probably be getting the old bow fishing boat out for sure. Because I ended up buying a fishing license in like every state we go to pretty much. Like one year, my record year, I think for it, I bought like 7 or 8 fishing licenses
Oh my gosh.
in 1 year.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's just a matter of time before I'm bow fishing out of Missouri for sure.
right. So let me ask you this, Jase. You kind of mentioned you're looking for a boat to keep down there this year. You kind of are flirting with Stingray a little bit, but do you have any other big plans going to this upcoming year for bow fishing?
Oh, 100. I talked my brother-in-law into buying a bow fishing boat just like last month
Okay.
so that we can have our own.
Sure.
And boy, I'll tell you what, if you're interested in buying a bow fishing boat or a boat in general, now is the time.
Oh, sure.
It is a buyer's market
Mhm.
because no one is thinking about fishing, including myself.
Right.
And if you can do that delayed gratification thing, it's like, okay, I'm going to buy this boat. I know I'm not going to use it for 3 or 4 months, or for you guys, like 8 months until it's not winter anymore.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You can get a heck of a deal. And that's exactly what he did. Like, we got this boat for basically the price of a platform. I mean, it was that good of a deal. It was wild. And it had a few things wrong with it, but Nate's got his buddy working on it while we're down here playing music and stuff. And this spring, it's going to be raring to go. So I'm planning on hitting several lakes this summer with that. And, that's just kind of the main goal, is to just get the boat out as much as possible. But that's kind of the main plan. I always do, like, come spring, I've got, shed hunting to do. I'm going to try and actually prep my trees this year in March rather than in July, so that I don't get debilitating poison ivy again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Because, they say it gets worse every time you get it. And this last time I got it, it was not good. It made my face swell.
Yeah, that's not good.
It was not good. So,
No.
Yeah, so I'm going to be doing that. And then, of course, I'm going to be chasing turkey in April and bow fishing as well. April is such a amazing time of year because you've got crappie to catch, you got turkeys to shoot, and bow fishing is on fire.
Yeah.
And that keeps me from sleeping ever.
There you go.
Well, that sounds like you have a pretty darn busy schedule.
Yeah.
You got the music,
yeah.
all the different hunting and fishing, and then you put in bow fishing, which you are bit you by the bow fishing bug.
Yep.
I mean, that's just awesome.
That sounds like a fun lifestyle.
It really is.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
I'm super blessed to get to do like this. It's really incredible for sure.
That's awesome.
And I count myself very lucky for it.
Very
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, we've got Jase on here, who's in a band and he's a musician.
Mm-hmm.
And next year on a Bowfishing Buzz, we always like to change up our intro song, our intro music.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, we're thinking now. Now we're thinking.
There you go. Yeah, if you want to go for a bluegrass style intro song, we can pick you up for sure.
That would be
that would be very cool. And Jase, just for everybody, what was the name? What was the band name again?
The band name is Lindley Creek.
Lindley Creek.
Okay.
Cool. Awesome. Check it out.
Right.
That's very cool.
Yeah,
I'm going to go there and check that out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're on Spotify and Facebook, Instagram, iTunes, all that good stuff. So you can find us about anywhere. We're about to release a new single. This is some sneak peek info, I guess, that I really love. It's called Spring is in the Air. We're probably going to release it in like January or February, something like that.
Okay.
Which reality probably March, but it's I just really love that song a lot. It just kind of talks about spring, and it has all these beautiful visuals about, things turning from winter to spring. And I always think about bow fishing when I think about that song.
Cool.
And turkey hunting. I actually talked to our producer. I was like, can we put like a bunch of sounds of like turkeys gobbling in this track?
There
and he's
you
like,
go.
No. So that dream got crushed a little bit. But the thing is when we play it live, I'm just going to grab the old diaphragm call and do some yelps, and just slightly off mic.
There you go. Give a couple of little soft yelps here and there.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, perfect.
That's cool.
That's awesome. Well, Jase, man, we thank you for, first of all, contacting us.
Yeah.
And then, taking the advice and going out there and my goodness, shooting 5 grassies, which
with a goal of 1.
Which a goal of 1.
Yeah.
And then a couple of giants out there for your fall bow fishing and giving that little advice that we put out there to use and
thanks for
letting
trusting
us know
and
letting us know about that
Oh,
experience.
absolutely. Yeah, thank you guys for what you do in having this podcast. There are like no resources for beginner bow fishing people out there.
Yep.
And well, none besides you guys. So I really appreciate you guys doing this, and thanks for having me on. It's
man.
It's a dream. I'm glad I wasn't too starstruck to speak.
Oh, geez.
I was a little worried about that.
Oh, you did great.
You were fantastic.
Absolutely.
You were great on the mic there, Jase. So we very much appreciate you talking to us.
Yes. And
well, yeah, it was my pleasure for sure. I was telling my wife, I was like, it's the weirdest thing. I can meet like musical heroes I've had, and it's fine, but I like meet one person in the outdoor industry that I follow or whatever, and I almost pass out.
That was like Derrick.
I was going to say,
that was
I've
like
been there.
Derrick, the first time he ever went to the ATA show and he saw Lee and Tiffany Lukoski.
Jeez.
He just about fell
boy.
over. He couldn't even walk.
Oh, and then
he was like a wet noodle.
Matt brought T-Bone over. Over to the booth, and he says, "Hey, I'm Travis," and I just Derrick. Yeah. So I've been there.
Yep. But that's awesome.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But man, we wish you the best of luck on all your outdoor activities and adventures moving forward here, Jase, and with your musical going forward, your music going forward.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go check out your music right now.
Yeah, I just looked it up here. I got you up on Instagram here, so we're definitely have to take a look at that. And that's pretty cool.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, guys.
Yeah, you betcha. And take care and have a great Christmas and a happy New Year, Jase.
All right, guys. Same to you.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it. We'll see you.
All righty. Bye.
Bye.
Well, that's cool. That's very cool. And I don't mean to, to toot our own horn, but it kind of, in his words, it's almost like, hey, I listen to this podcast about bow fishing in a time of year that's not usually looked at as the best time to go shoot fish, and we had one of the best outings that we've ever had.
Right.
That's very satisfying from the standpoint of you and me talking up here. It's like, well, that's cool. People are taking our advice and going and putting it into practice, and it's paying off. So that's very cool.
And it's always, you never know, you never met somebody before, you never talked to them on the phone before. I called Jase and talked to him roughly 10 minutes before we started our podcast, just to make sure we had a good connection.
We're going in pretty cold here.
We're getting cold, and to it's so cool to talk to fellow bowfishers out there, and stuff like that there, and that are just getting started, that are pretty new to the sport. Jason's only been doing it for 3 years.
Yep.
So he's pretty new to the sport, and he's always trying to go out and learn something also out there.
Yeah, that's cool.
About the fish being on the points and halfway down the bay, and then in the back of the bays and stuff like that there.
Yeah.
So really cool.
One thing, Matt, I think we got to do the next time we're on a trip somewhere and we're struggling to find fish, we got to break out the old oatmeal cream pie.
We might have to change up the old
Bananarama moon pie.
Yeah.
That's a good luck charm right there. You take it in the deer woods too. That's a great deer woods.
You had a big old dessert here at 10 o'clock break today. What was that thing?
Shout out to the Farm View Country Store. It's an Amish store. If they're listening, well, I don't know if they're...
I doubt it.
I don't think they'll be listening. But there's a little store out here by Stratford, Wisconsin here. They make their own. Imagine an oatmeal cream pie. Okay? Imagine that in your head. They're delicious.
Now imagine this on steroids 3 times.
Now you're going to take out the oatmeal, cookie portion of it and just make it 2 inches thick on either side of chocolate brownie cake. All right, and now quadruple the amount of frosting.
Right, yeah.
That's what I got to eat at break today. They are fantastic. Maybe we'll have to bring some of those along on our next bow fishing trip. They're pretty good.
For those of you that don't know, every time when we have a break, if you look in Derrick's office, he's doing push-ups. All right, he's in there doing push-ups. So I saw that thing wrapped on top of the refrigerator today, and it was like 6 inches thick.
Probably like 3,000 calories, honestly.
I said, holy cow, Schmitty. I said, you're going to need to do 25 push-ups eating this thing.
Yep. That's what I have to do. I have to do those push-ups every break so I can eat a 6-inch big old chocolate cream pie. So
that's funny.
Yeah.
Also, don't forget that right now on the Bowfishing Association of America's Facebook page, they're doing auctions.
Oh, yes.
Guided bowfishing trips and other duck hunts and other hunts out there right now that you can go out there and bid on.
Yep.
On the Bowfishing, or the World's Bowfishing Championships Facebook page, they have raised over $10,000.
Holy cow!
Justin Cook and his crew.
That's awesome.
For next year's World's Tournament.
Yep, very cool.
They had a couple of waffle raffles here.
Yep,
and that went over very well for them. So if you're looking for something to go on some type of trip yet you can bid on, go over to the BAA Facebook page.
Absolutely.
and put some bids in for that.
And something else too, guys, just as we wrap it up here, make sure to check out all of our new products. We're all very excited about this. We put a lot of time and effort into here. They're going to be quality AMS and MegaMouth products, so that that's going to entail that Ringo Bow we talked about, the new Sport Retriever, the Sport Combo, and of course that Quad-Lock on the MegaMouth side of things is going to be a fantastic point. So check them out.
That's right. So from all of us here at AMS Bowfishing and
MegaMouth Bowfishing as well.
Aim low,
think big.
And along with that, Schmitty,
yes,
we all want to wish all of you out there a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Absolutely.
Thank you to all of you out there who support AMS Bowfishing, MegaMouth Bowfishing, and the sport of bowfishing.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening, guys. We're having a blast up here, and it's all thanks to you guys. So have a blessed Christmas. We'll talk to you next month.
Thank you very much. And we'll see you next year.
That's why you brought that out here. He's playing the air guitar on the new Ringo Bow. This looks rehearsed. I think he practiced this.
See you later, everybody.
Thanks for listening, guys.